Hello, how's it going? Welcome back to the next One Piece review and discussion. And we are here at the leaks for the next chapter. And my goodness, is Oda cooking something good? I thought after the last chapter, things were taking a bit of a simmer. We're in the heat of Egghead, things are ramping up. But we've learned that Blackbeard's bloodline, his lineage, is important somehow. There's something to do with who Blackbeard is and his ancestors that has some bearing and relevance, and somehow Saint J. Garcia knew about it, which kind of took Katarina Devon and Van Orga a bit aback that he knew. But we also learned what their intentions are. They too want the world, very similar to Rocks. So whether Blackbeard is a descendant of Rocks, there's a theory that he's a descendant of Joy Boy, which is a whole other thing, which will be so cool considering he's due to be and it will be the antagonist and the main antagonist this whole time we've been building him up to be. Oh, there's just so much ahead to look forward to. But bringing us back, we need to talk about this chapter and what a crazy chapter it is. So, without further ado, chapter 1108. Attention, world, or world, please respond. The translations are always a bit all over the place because it's not the official one yet, so we won't know till Sunday, but it's the closest we get. But cover story, there is none this week. We have a lovely colour spread of some of the women of One Piece dressed nicely, all drinking on a couch, looking very posh, professional, and Usa's there with them. So, we're keeping it in canon, hopefully, that, Shanks' daughter is real. But we last left off with Caribou pleading for his life and asking Van Orga and Katarina Devon to take him to meet Teach. He idolises Blackbeard, the Commodore, and he wants to be a part of his crew. So we pick up right where we left off, in the midst of that, and they're like, wait, who are you again? Like, what's happening? And Van Orga's like, he's wet-haired Caribou, what's his story? We know what's happening. And he's like, look, we're pirates, I know this is a government island, but you gotta trust me. And Van Orga's like, look, there are a lot of people after the Commodore's life. How could we trust you? And he's like, look, I have information that Teach wants, and if you go back to Blackbeard, he'll have your heads because of it. And he's like, look, the valuable information I have is basically so hard to come by that only a few people know it. And he goes into his own thoughts at this point because he points out that he knows where Poseidon is and names it as Shirahoshi. Obviously, he was there. He knows that Pluton is below Wano. Again, he was on Wano at the time when it all got revealed. So overheard somehow that Pluton is under Wano, hiding. And also, he says that the only other people who know of those two factors, those two ancient weapons, are the Straw Hats and him. So he kind of has a lot of leverage. As much as he doesn't want to give it over now, he is like, this is like what Teach wants to hear. And he's like, look, I will surrender that information free of charge if you just bring me to the Commodore. And Van Orga and Katarina Devon are like, giving him a very stern look. But he's like begging. He's like, look, just take me with you. I can be of use. So we don't know what else happens there. I'm going to assume that they take him. The information that Caribou's got, they're pretty strong individuals. As much as Van Orga's just been fighting as well, and he's probably exhausted at this point. like, what harm? They know who Caribou is from the story. But the rest of the island, not looking so good. So we pull back to the rest of the shoreline and we see just ships just destroyed, sinking to the bottom of the ocean, never to be seen again. All those marine lives lost because of the pacifistas turning on the ships. And we see in the explosions, the pacifistas are using the bubble shields to like block incoming damage and then just like fire back. They are military trained, almost indestructible weapons. And the Marines are like pissed. They're like, oh, those damn bubble shields are annoying. Like, why did we have to learn like this? What this special science group was like? Why did it have to be against us? So they just get wiped out. But we do in this chapter, because I don't think it was ever going to happen until this point, we get the names of pretty much most of the other vice admirals who are here during the Buster Call. We didn't learn any of their names. We've known they've been around. We've seen them fighting. We knew they were sort of present during St. J. Garcia and what was happening there, because Doll was like, look, we got to go. And they were like, Doll, just leave. So the vice admirals are aware of what's happening currently. But we finally have names. So one we start off with, who we did know, was Bluegrass. Now, I think it's the ride fruit. She has the ability to straddle onto an object or a person or something and basically take control of it. We saw she did it with one of the pacifistas earlier on. So she's even saying how frustrating it is. Like, she wants to be able to cut loose with what she can do, but the damage would be too much. Like, it would just cause too much loss of life and she can't risk it. Next to join the conversation is Vice Admiral Hound. A very sort of stern, glasses-wearing, probably very strategic man who's like, it's very unprecedented, but what if we just called the Buster Call off for now and just like left and then regrouped? So, trying to be very logical. And then we've got Vice Admiral Guillotine, who is the sort of beard, sort of like white shock streak, just like me actually here. Shock streak through his hair. And he's like, look, Vegapunk gave command to that pirate to have authority over the pacifists. There's no way we can stop them now. And we see that Doberman. We know who Doberman is. It's Doberman, Vice Admiral Doberman. Him and this swirly mustache. He's the one saying, look, like, the real issue then is we've got to go and take Yuri Bonnie's head. She's the one who gave the commands. If we hunt her down immediately, we can get control of them again. So he gives an order, a command. I don't know if it works with other Vice Admirals. A suggestion. But he says that all the Vice Admirals should hereby leave their stations and hunt her down immediately. He says the way things are and how things are moving and the direction they were last seen, her current escape has to be from the centre to the north-east coast, which is where we know they're all heading to try and escape away from Egghead. And this towering figure on the comms is like, don't worry, I'm going to be the one to take her down. And everyone's like, oh, no way. And this huge figure is like running full sprint across the battlefield, heading right toward Bonnie and the others. We see it's Bonnie on Frankie's back, and Atlas currently has Kuma over hers, like they're kind of like doing that glide across the ground because of the gravity or something. And he's like, look, my fingers are going to drag them down to hell. My 10-barrel finger gun can even shred through armor. And we see he's like, his hands are all hacked up and he's like doing this like clutch, and he's basically gonna just like destroy any target. And we get Vice Admiral Tosa in this really cool panel of his Tosa Crush named attack. This man is literally meters away from Bonnie. Bonnie even like, oh shit, it's a Marine. We're done for. It's over. And then, smack. This man just got swatted out of the sky by Broggy. The build-up in that of this Marine being so, like, a Vice Admiral of all things, dedicating, like, I've got my ultimate move. I'm about to get the killing blow. He's off. He's gone. And then we get, obviously, everyone's reaction of, like, there's giants in front of them. Like, Bonnie screams. Frankie's like, wait, you've got giants on this island? Like, what's happening here? And, like, they're like, I don't know, Broggy. I don't know. I don't look recognizable faces. I can't tell from the wanted posters. But, you know, are you guys researchers? And then Dory's like, oh, we're looking for the Straw Hat. And then Frankie is like, wait, you're looking for my captain, Luffy. You know, do you hold a grudge against him? And they're like, no. We're paying him back. You know, we owe him a lot. We've actually got a lot of gratitude for him. So we're warriors from Elbaf. And, you know, if you're friends, then we'll do our best to keep you safe. And at that point, Bonnie's like, Luffy, Sanji, and Vegapunk are all back there. You need to go and help them. They're not in a good spot. And that's when they're like, oh, those names take me back. So, you betcha. So they're like basically in this moment now, just like Vegapunk. Oh, he's the one that Scholar mentioned. Who? A scholar on Elbaf? The man with Marked by Flames? We're getting information that Oda's just slipping in. But Dory and Broggy give the order for the other giants to take Frankie and the others to the ship, get them to safety. They alone are going to head to the middle of the island. So just Dory and Broggy now are by themselves. The other giants are following orders. And we see Frankie like acknowledge, like, wait, are those the masters that Usopp always mentioned? But immediately jump back into the Marines. We get the rest of some of the Vice Admiral names. We get Vice Admiral Urban, who was the sort of like top hat Marine cap, like long hair, like orc teeth looking one. And he's like, yeah, the line's just gone dead there. And we get the big sort of rocker motorbike dude with like a scar and like shades. He is called Vice Admiral Pomsky or Pomsky. Don't know how you're going to pronounce it. But he's like, wait, did they counter his attack, those giants? Like, what's happening? We've all got to head to the island. And that's when Bluegrass jumps into action and starts to ride the giraffe sea beast that she's got control of because of a devil fruit. And she says, Doll, jump on. We're going to go to the northeast side of the island and we're going to take on that ship. That is our objective. That's where we're going. But look, giants are no joke. Like, have you ever fought one before? And Doll says that 20 years ago, her commanding officer was none other than a certain giant. And Bluegrass is like, of course, past tense, giant. You must mean Saul. He was a tough cookie. Doll worked under Saul. Oda's tying everything together in a nice neat bow. How lovely. But obviously, during the conversation, the giants are having with Frankie and the others, they're saying, look, where are the others? And they're like, look, they're up in that sky island. They're in the lab above the clouds. But, you know, they're not exactly like... They're just above us. Like, it's strange. So, basically trying to explain where everyone else is so they can go and get them as well. And we now come to the centre of the island. We see Garcia now is getting up, dusting himself off. We just see his legs, but we hear Luffy and Sanji talking to Vegapunk. And he's basically like, look, I have internal bleeding. I'm done. I know I will die if I move. That is why the others had to leave. You've got to leave me. You've just got to get out of here and save yourselves. And then we see Sanji stood looking at the new form of St. J. Garcia. He has gotten twice as big. It looks like he's huge. He is full spider now, on all 8 legs, just scurrying directly towards them. And they're like, look, I promised Luffy saying to get you off this island, didn't I? And he's like, I did ask you that, but I've made my bed now. And there's something else that, like, I need to ask you. I didn't want Bonnie to learn about the command she had until she was older. She will now be a target for the rest of her life. I need you to look after her. And we don't get Luffy's response yet. What we see is Sanji analysing St. J. Garcia in this massive spider form. He says, look, this guy here who's coming towards us, he's given up any pretense of looking human. There is a strange look in his eye, and his whole body is coated in venom now, because we see one of his talons hits a tree and it immediately disintegrates. Could there be a thing that the Gorosei aren't actually human to begin with? They just took humanoid form. He is like Sanji saying, the look in his eye, and there's a shot of his eye. He is no longer logically thinking. It's almost like he's acting like a beast, a spider coming for its prey. He has lost all humanity. And Sanji's like, look, this dude's serious. And just in that moment, all of St. J. Garcia's legs splinter and stretch and grow and just start destroying everything in the path. And we can see Sanji jumps and grabs Vegapunk. He's like, look, we gotta move you. This isn't looking good, my guy. And Luffy's laughing while he's dodging out the way, very, very funnily. But we see that Vegapunk's like, look, you've got to stop. You've got to leave me, Sanji. There's nothing left. And Sanji's like, look, we're going to figure it out. It's all going to be fine. Sanji gets a roundhouse kick to the face because Kizaru's pissed at him. Kizaru knocks him out the way and stabs Vegapunk through the chest with his sword. Finally says what he was going to do. Vegapunk hits the floor and Luffy looks pissed. He's like, Gramps? Apple Gramps? And we can see that he turns and he's like, Sanji, you get going, get Vegapunk out of here, back to the entrance. And Sanji's like, I'm sorry, Vegapunk. He's apologising, but he just picks him up and he starts running. And as Kizaru becomes light, his body is shining, he's ready to go after them, Luffy grabs hold of Kizaru and grabs Garcia's head and pushes them back. In the first time I think we've ever seen Luffy look pissed in Gear 5. He's always laughing, he's always having fun, he's enjoying himself. This face is not a man who looks happy. He's got both of them and he's like, you two, you knew there was no way I was letting you escape, right? And we can see Garcia's eyes oh shit, and Kizaru's already just spitting blood. So anyone else see Luffy being able to hold these off 2v1? Because I sure wasn't expecting it. I thought that Luffy would take Garcia, Sanji would have to hold off Kizaru, then now he can block light. No, Oda's just gone Sanji's not needed here. Luffy's going to take it. What? We know Dory and Broggy are soon to join the fray as well, and they're going to see Luffy as a giant fighting these two, and they are going to be enamored and be like, that same kid from those years ago. Now look at him. Oh, it's going to be such a good scene. But anyway, we're not done yet. We see giant Luffy in the distance dealing with like these two as Sanji's like basically just getting away. He's probably one of the quickest Straw Hats, so he's making it a good distance. And he's just hoping that Vegapunk doesn't die on him. And then he's like, wait, why are you smiling? And there's a beeping sound. And we go back up to one of the labs. And we see the monitor switch on. And it's a recording of Vegapunk. Like, testing, check, testing, yep, hello. 1, 2, 3. Attention, world. This is Dr. Vegapunk here. You know, the world's greatest and most humble scientific genius. I'm sure this message will come as a shock for all of you, but please bear with me. What I'm about to tell you is the truth about our world. End of chapter. God! Why does Oda have to do that to us? So, did Vegapunk have this set up in the case of his death? Is this basically... Because as the beep starts, it's when Vegapunk is basically on death's door. This message is being broadcast in the event. It's one of those things. In the event of my death, this gets sent to the world through Egghead, through the dome. Vegapunk is transmitting this message to everyone across the globe. What is he possibly going to tell everyone? About the Gorosei, about Eam, about other facts that we don't know about yet, about the Void Sentry that he's just ready to reveal to all of us? Are we the world? Is this part of the forever changing moment that we know is coming from Egghead? Is he going to show like a shot of Luffy being like, Sun God Nika has returned. He's here, the warrior of liberation. It's time to rise up. There's no break next week, so I'm very excited to see where he's going with this. Obviously, as well, I need to know how Luffy 2v1 and a Gorosei and an Admiral. How strong is Gear 5? It's certainly not going to go easy. But Dory and Broggy, not far off, are going to be able to help. I guess we'll wait and see. Thank you guys for watching if you're here to the very end. I do appreciate it. Let me know what you thought of the chapter. I will see you next week.